Father's Day, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Father's Day. It's great to be here. There's a few people that I wanted to give a quick shout out before I start the show. They've really helped make Father's Day very, very special for me this year. James Werber, Bill Verity, John Yen, Henry Serrano, Joseph Ranseth, Steve Stone Sr., Bashar Shalah, Ricky Goodall, and Swami, Robert Clancy, George Madu, Michael Light, Ron Klabundi, also Chris Casimir, and of course Josh Coombs. Thank you guys so much. We're going to kick it off in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So happy Father's Day, coming to you live from Facebook Live. Making progress. You see on the cover today is my Father's Day card from my son Tyler, and I think it's awesome to be able to talk about not just Father's Day, but about progress. A couple of years ago, just before we launched the Giving Back podcast on 4th of July, I had a big eye-opening wake-up call. And it wasn't just about changes, and it wasn't just about progress, but it was about looking at myself and finding where I was and being comfortable in that space. So I started off today, worked out, which was great. It felt really good back on that after some time of neglecting that portion, getting back on that and making sure I have that pillar. And then had coffee with my good friend George Duran. He's a super interesting guy, great friend, great dad. Also, you should hear him talk about his kids. It's fabulous. He is an engineer and doing some really wickedly cool stuff with some companies who I can't even mention. And he had an interesting point about his work. He said that if I see him running like hell, go in that same direction. Because whatever he's doing, when it goes wrong, get out of there. But so listen, reflecting on progress, right? That's, if you're familiar with Tony Robbins, and I had written about this some time ago, he said that the one word that he thinks of, if you ask him, what does it take to be happy? It's progress. And I heard him on Entrepreneur on Fire, EOFire.com, with John Lee Dumas. It was episode 1272, as John would say. And I'll put the link to listen to him. At about 22 and a half minutes, there was this minute that he was talking, and it was amazing. It was really, really powerful. And it actually changed how I look at Tony and what he does. So briefly, he said, if you ask me, what does it take to be happy? It's one word: progress. Progress equals happiness. If you're not even where you want to be, but you're making progress in your business, you're making progress in your body, you're making progress in your relationship, you're going to feel alive. And man, that word, alive, that is so key. So I believe in evolution. I believe in a lot of things. And the school that I come from is that it's not a clean and gradual line, but it's actually sudden bursts of change. What happens? And that includes on our own evolution, what we learn, how we learn, what we do with it. 5 of the most powerful words that I've ever heard uttered was in Eugene, Oregon, at the Wings seminar led by Chris King. And she said, knowledge without action is bullshit. And man, that's so powerful. And when I look at these past couple years, and even recently, my son coming back home and saying, it's just the wrong place for me. This is the wrong environment. And instead of just dragging it out for 4 years or 5 years in college in a place where it wasn't right for him and he knew it, he took action and he swallowed his pride. And he came back home to start. That's power, right? That's inner power. And so when I think of the last couple of years with the show, and prior to that, a few years in myself, and just look at my own progress, man, I am feeling so awesome. I do. I feel so alive. There's some reframing that happens occasionally, not just about a subject, right? A subject matter, but also about how to approach life overall. And I've had those. Oh, I mean, just so luckily, I've had those, and it's just really changed my outlook. One of them from Shenandoah Chefalo, who wrote The Garbage Bag Suitcase, was about asking, when you see something that you feel is wrong, quote unquote wrong, instead of asking what's wrong with you, ask what happened to you, and start that connection, because you won't have a connection without it. Another is about processing things that happen to you and thinking about them as this obstacle, and being able to put them in the right place and acknowledge them, understand how you're feeling in the moment, understand what is coming up for you and why that might be, and then walking past it. And so over time, those get smaller and smaller, so you're walking a straighter and straighter line to where you want to go. Another piece is about asking, right? And there was actually two components of this. Number one is was given to me by my dentist, Cecilia, who talked about how expansive giving back is, and about how being at this point of where I am, it's not how stunted my growth was, it's how expansive the experience of giving back is. And following up on that from Teresa de Gaubois, that why would I want to withhold the opportunity to experience the joy of giving back from somebody who wanted to get involved, and then taking that a step further and reframing that into this world and this work of service. If that is where my path lies, then in a sense, isn't it selfish if I don't ask for that, knowing that the universe is going to give me everything that I asked for? So it's really, really amazing. What a lot of this comes down to, or comes back to, interestingly enough, was this time that I spent with James, and also Valerie Shepard and Terry Duperon, under the guidance of Barbara Whitman and Don Morse in our Vision Quest. And there was this moment where we were asked what we want to focus on, and it was this. Originally I was thinking gratitude, which is still, top of mind for me, but it was the image of my father and understanding what unconditional love is, and having that present in my life before he died, and recognizing it before he died. And it was wonderful. I mean, it was so powerful. When I recently had a chance to hear about a fellow named Father Gregory Boyle. I've mentioned him before. I heard him. I'll put the link to the podcast that I originally heard about him, and it's really amazing. He's also written a couple books about Homeboy Industries and his experience, and the gang members' experience. And there's just some phenomenal and very eloquent expressions of transformation and the power of unconditional love. And that the woman who wrote another book, who embedded herself for years, and I think is still active with them, Celeste Fremont, she wrote this incredibly concise, eloquent, and beautiful statement. She wrote, "Greg's job was never to save them, it was to love them." And when I think about that, and when I think about that statement, and when I think about the impact that he has had in Homeboy Industries, in becoming the largest gang intervention and rehabilitation and retraining and re-entry program, and think about the lesson that my father gave to me before he left that I could carry with me. And I see that card from my son, Tyler, who, interestingly enough, we had a terrible argument. And coming back to what I know is true is that, what is that progress? It's understanding what my role is, it's not to save them. It's not to make their lives awesome. It's to love them and let them find their path. And what is it that I can do? It really stems from this incredible example that I had from my father of unconditional love, and being able to wrap my arms around that and move forward with that in mind in terms of how I want to serve, because I don't want to save them. I want to love them. So thank you very much. Happy Father's Day. I hope it was wonderful. If you're listening on Thursday, man, it's just beautiful out here. Remember, always err on the side of love and kindness. Until the next time, love and gratitude. So listen, everybody out there, if you're out there, Michael, thank you so much for joining. I wish you all a beautiful day, as always, and in particular, happy Father's Day, wherever you may be, and whether you're a father, a mother, or have your father still with you in your heart or present. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, and love you so much. Bye-bye.